Going live. It says we're getting ready to go live. And we're live. How's it going, everybody? Austin here with Fantastic Freaks on this, or at least here in Iowa, is a very humid Sunday evening. And hope you all are having a good Saturday evening, winding down, and getting ready for another weekday. I know I am getting ready. I already got someone in the comments here. Acer13 Green, hello again. Hey, Acer. It's good to see you. So main thing, I got the stream going again, and got getting more and more for this big tank right here. Finally getting some parts together for it at long last. Still got to get a sump and gonna get a protein skimmer for it yet though. Hey, see in the chat there as well, Benny's Aquatics. Welcome, welcome. Gonna go ahead and tell you some ideas that I've got also down here lately. So I know I showed you that 30 hex the last time I was also down here during a fish room tour, which, by the way, make sure you keep checking back on my channel, as in the very near future, I'm going to do another fish room tour video, which don't know the exact number, but as of right now, it has about 2.5 thousand views, which I know is not exactly matching to Corey from Aquarium Co-op or Joey from King of DIY, but at the same time, wowzer. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and share the stream and all that, the more people here, the merrier. The more the merrier. See also, Austin Plord is back in our chat again. Hello. But yes, on 30 hex, as I was saying, thinking might go saltwater with that one as well there. Looking, Beyonce found some clownfish that she, that really caught her eye. Of course, they're a rare pair of, I almost want to keep saying angelfish. I need to stop that. She wants a certain type of clownfish. It's a, those of you that might know what I'm talking about, blue lightning maroon clownfish. And there's a disc in the chat there saying, ooh, clownfish. Apparently someone's a fan of those. Blue lightning maroon clownfish, they kind of remind me of Oscillers clownfish. Kind of got somewhat similar patterns. There's obviously some differences, but get a little bit bigger. Usually Oscillers clownfish only get about 3 inches or so, where blue lightning maroon, to I guess the very little that I've heard and looked up on them, can reach about 5-6 inches. But go ahead and show the hex here, even though if you were on the live stream, you probably saw this the last time, but right now just got water in it doing a leak test, and so far so good. So there's a plus. Always good when you get a used tank and that it's not leaking. Personally, I always like to get used tanks. They're always nice. They're way cheaper too. As long as they don't leak, it's, as far as I'm concerned, just as good as a new one. Yeah, Jessica, I presume she's mentioning the blue lightning maroon. I gotta get that name down. I trip over that a couple times. But yes, very expensive clownfish. The store that I saw them at, they were just shy of $110 a piece. They had 2 of them that were kind of different sizes. I couldn't tell if one was male, the other one was female. Obviously, clownfish have the ability to change their genders, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But still a really cool fish, and really would happen, think about it. Benny's Aquatics nearly at 302. Hey, absolutely. Hopefully we can both get there around the same time. Yeah. How long have you also been on YouTube, Benny? Just out of curiosity. I've been on, it's a little over 2.5 months. I'd have to double check to see what it is exactly. But let's see. Acer13 Green. Why not? I presume you mean piranhas. I can't hit you for your spelling though, because Lord knows I wouldn't spell it right either. But I actually have thought about piranhas. Obviously, piranhas get really big. I feel like some people, they're almost kind of like goldfish. I don't think people realize sometimes how big they get. I want to say, like red bellies, for example, can get somewhere in the ballpark around 10 inches, sometimes bigger if you get them in the right tank. Actually had a family member over on the east side of Iowa, which those of you that don't know is where I live. I live on the west side of Iowa, close by the Omaha area. And had an aunt that's over in like the Davenport, Iowa area that said a friend of hers had a red belly piranha that they had as a class pet in a 10-gallon tank, though. Ouch. I won't go too deep into that, but thought about rescuing it and all that. But piranhas, I will tell you right now, if you don't put piranhas in school, though, you're missing out big time. Piranhas are way cooler of a fish than if they're in groups of, I'd say, at least 6. If you can do more, even better. Let's see here. Kenny Mac, how often do you do water changes? Tanks always look good. Hey, thank you. I do work a lot on these tanks. I guess in terms of how often I change the water, kind of depends on the tank size and all that. Obviously, Finley over here and the 150 over there, high protein diet and such. Thus, I change the water a little more frequently in there to make sure we don't have a bad nitrate or nitrites. Make sure ammonia doesn't become a problem. Other than that, most tanks, like my 75, usually once every week and a half or so, I do about a third to half of a water change in there, which is a 75. Yeah, I just said 75. And the goldfish tank, usually I do about the same thing, a third to half, about once every week, week and a half. And so far, yeah, it's proved to be a pretty efficient formula. It's no fish really have gotten sick. I'm always got to knock on wood, or you're going to jinx yourself there. But yeah, it kind of depends on the tank size. But otherwise, usually if they're my 40-gallon breeder and the tanks that are all smaller, usually once per week, sometimes twice, depending on how the substrate and such is looking. Let's see. Austin Ford, can I feed my fish Casey's breakfast pizza? Well, you can. Whether that's a good idea, that's a different discussion. But I mean, it's not unheard of. I've actually heard some people. Well, it's unheard of to feed breakfast pizza to fish, but like eggs and such. Some people I have heard have done like egg yolk with some fish before. Not totally unheard of. I myself don't do it. I keep it pretty simple with flakes, pellets, and brine shrimp and bloodworms myself. But hey, sometimes if fish dig it, then hey, go for it. Yeah, Kenny, it's like I say, it's worked pretty good so far. And hey, you know what they say: if the system ain't broken, don't try to fix it, right? Real quick, got that 20 long that I showed you the last time there. As I try not to hit my head on these beams. Those of you that don't know, if I try to go up, yeah, that's about how much I run into them. Let's see here. Oh, I see your question there, Acer. I'll get to that just in a minute here. But try to get a good angle on this. This is my current state of the 20-gallon long. Probably going to rearrange the plants a little bit. It's been cycling for a little over a week now. And I unfortunately have forgotten the names of all the plants that are in there. I know obviously the big one in the middle is a big old Java fern, which I cannot take credit for. I did not grow that. I saw it at a fish store, got a really good deal on it, and it's one of those things where just had to have it. Otherwise, we got some Rotala indica in there. Got some. Probably thinking of maybe putting some Val in there. Got some red plants as well. Got a crypt over there that's kind of getting buried a little bit. But thinking of a guppy tank in there, perhaps. Thinking that would be really cool. I got some rocks that I plan to put in there later, too. That I think are really going to enhance the aquascape of that tank. Okay, let's see. I saw that Acer did put a question. Yes. What got you into fish? Excuse me. What got you into fish keeping? Oh, boy. You feel like this should be an easy answer, but sometimes it's really not. But I guess I'd say it's probably two different things. It's probably in terms of like the stages of how my fish keeping interest grew. To start off, I have an uncle in the Twin Cities, the St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota area that was really big into fish too. Still is. Just has fewer tanks because obviously kids come into the picture and got to start putting money towards other things. Which at some point, I guess that'll happen to me. How heavily will I take the hit? Well, I guess stay tuned. But anyway, to get back on your question, that was one thing. Always, whenever I visited my uncle up there with family and such, seeing his fish room, and he, like myself, also really likes angelfish. I feel like that's part of where my liking for angelfish came from. Was from him because he actually breeded them pretty regularly too, and some of the angelfish he just got, and I can only imagine how much he sold those at times. But if he did, but he still, for right now, does mostly plants and such. Right now, actually, some of the plants that are in my fish room are from him, and learned a couple of tips from the man in terms of how to keep live plants and all that, and it's really helped out a lot. Let's see. Otherwise, the second level of the fish keeping for you, Acer, where I started, because I guess I don't know if I've ever said this, but I currently own 20 tanks. Currently, one, two, three. Well, about 3 or 4 of them. I'd have to double check. I believe it's 4. Are not stocked with any fish in it right now, but in terms of total tanks that I own 20. In terms of getting to that level, it was a fish store in Omaha called Fish Freaks. I saw that fish room as well as some other ones in some other fish stores in Omaha, and realized just how vast this hobby really is, and all the different kinds of fish out there. It's a hobby too that really it's as expensive as a hobby as you really want to make it. If you want to go buy a couple $100 fish like certain cichlids or flower horns, or even want to spend 4 digits on a fish and get like a big ol' arowana or some big old koi or something, hey, have at it. Or if you want to have super cheap fish and all that, just go get some feeder goldfish, and yeah, boom, only about what 15 cents a fish, depending where you're at, I guess. Once I saw some legit family owned fish stores that have like all sorts of cichlids, and even like learn freshwater pufferfish and such, and all sorts of other things. That was kind of what enhanced me to get deeper into the hobby. Kind of a lengthy answer, but I guess to answer your question, a number of things. But those were the main two. Kenny, again, does anybody help you in the fish room, or do you do all the work? I would say I do most of the work. In terms of help, though, I definitely get tips like from fish stores and such, as in how to make it a little easier on myself. Because obviously, currently, in terms of tanks with water in them right now, we're at 17. So that can be a little crazy, but at the same time, I've kind of figured out a system to make it a little easier on myself. My tanks, in terms of water capacity, range from 4 to, in terms of ones that have water in it right now, still just Finley's tank, which is the 150. Soon to be 185 here, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware by now. But like say the little tanks, sometimes I'll do like just 2 or 3 of those in one day, because obviously smaller tanks just require lesser water to be taken out. That's a little more manageable. Whereas a 75 or Finley's tank, the 150 or the 125, those sometimes I just do 1, 2 at most a day, depending on how much energy I guess I have. But for the most part, I do it on my own. But fiance occasionally comes down here and helps out, mostly by helping me keep my fish room's floor clean, which is definitely helpful. Fortunately, I don't drop too much glass and all that, because boy, that would be a mess. Jessica says, any new fish? It's been a while since you did a tour. Actually, yes, we have just 2 new fish from today. In fact, now that you bring it up, let's go ahead and check out these new fish, shall we? You'll have to excuse the tank. I need to wipe it down again. One problem with the goldfish tank, it can be a little hard to keep up with, because obviously they can make a tank dirty in a hurry. Probably might get a bad light there, because obviously I have a strong light on here, but in the goldfish tank, trying to see where they're at. But we have another comet in here. He might be over there, actually. Oh, yep. And you can see we got a calico fantail in here as well. Trying to make sure. Obviously, I'm doing this live stream on my laptop, so again, I apologize if my camera angles are not always the greatest. But yeah, I got the calico. He's maybe a little bit smaller than the orange and white fantail, but not by a whole lot. Maybe by just a pinch. Otherwise, over here, back by the filter, got another Comet. Scales are looking a little beat up, but I guess maybe he was in a pond once upon a time. I think he was in with some other fish, and that'll heal up in time. But he's already learning to swim around, be active with all the other goldies and the 3 dojo loaches we have in here. Cool thing with goldfish is, as long as there's not a huge size difference and nothing fits in their mouth, then usually other goldfish go around fine. I don't think I'm going to put anything else in this tank, though, because a lot of these other fish will still grow yet. The calico and the one comet I got in here yet will grow, as will the dojo loaches. The dojo loaches could reach potentially up to 10 inches, so probably going to stop here. Unless, of course, one of the fish tragically die for some reason, which I don't want to talk too much, because, of course, we don't want that to happen now, do we? But yeah, we do have some new fish, and that's them. Got another comet, so we'll go back over here actually real quick. So yeah, we have 6 comets in the 125 now, and 3 fantails now. A calico fantail. I think I'm trying to remember what the other one is. Unfortunately, I am terrible at remembering these names. I get told them, but I never remember them. But yeah, we have 6 comet goldfish in here, 3 dojo loaches, and then yeah, just got the calico. Seems to be doing pretty well in here. Just got to scrub off some algae here from the tank walls. Maybe been thinking about getting a pleco in here. I'm just worried about a pleco maybe going after my fantails and maybe sucking off their slime coat, which obviously don't want that, because then that gets them prone to disease and just is a bad deal all around. But might get a pleco in here maybe, but might get a lot more caves, but I don't know. I'm kind of more leaning towards just leaving this tank alone and just cleaning it a little more frequently maybe is the trick. But going off what you said earlier, Acer, yeah, it's been a while since I've done a fish room tour. Those that maybe didn't join as early, definitely keep an eye on my channel, as I will be doing a fish room tour video very, very soon. Hoping later this week or by a week from now, it'll be up, hopefully. Kind of to celebrate going over 250, and as my live stream says, we're getting near 300 subs, so kind of to celebrate both occasions there. Acer 13 Green, I love goldfish. So few serious fish keepers seem to keep them. So sad, because they're beautiful, friendly, and active fish. Keep it up. Hey, thank you. Yeah, goldfish to me, I think big reason is, obviously, one, as I say, they can really make a tank dirty quicker than, most other fish can. Obviously, all fish poop, all fish have to eat, thus how that happens. But goldfish, no doubt, can make a tank a little make a tank dirtier than most fish can on a regular basis, anyway. Let's see, Rita Cecile here. How much time do you spend a week to maintain your tanks, plants, and fish? Boy, I've never actually kept track of the time, but oh boy. Well, the cool thing is, in my African cichlid tank, since they're all fake plants, none. None in that tank anyway. And very few plants in the goldfish tank, because the goldfish just eat them anyway, so none in that tank either. But depending on the plants, I usually get liquid CO2, or I barely ever use that unless they're showing obvious signs of that's kind of what they need to perk themselves back up a little bit. But otherwise, mostly I just use root tabs, and I just give at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches in all the tanks that I can. I've actually been thinking about my 75, maybe getting the fish out of there and adding a little bit to the substrate. The only tricky part of that is sometimes that can mess up the biocycle in a tank, and that can be very bad news if you do that. Unless you get those already eco-friendly bag deals, which can help a little bit. but sometimes you also don't know how long those things have sat, which can then prove to be a double-edged sword. But in terms of an exact number I'm gonna be able to take, is I guess I've never looked, but might have to do that actually, because that would be an interesting stat to share later down the road. Knowing that I'm gonna get some that my 50 corner here though is gonna have a lot of plants in there, because those of you that missed the other stream perhaps before, plan on putting a dragon puffer in this tank. Beautiful, beautiful fish with beautiful markings, and we're looking forward to getting that. Unfortunately, since it's summertime down in the Amazon River, or parts of that, not too many people want to mess around with that part of the world in the summer. A lot of big creatures that can kill you there. See, right now, little update on one of the tanks. Back to the 29-gallon here. The African River Jewel Cichlid has this udder herself, and it is indeed a female. I would maybe in a video I can tell y'all how to do that, although I'm sure some of you probably already know. As you might remember, we actually had a gold marble angel in here, and it seemed like he was doing well and all that. He was eating okay and such, and we moved him over here into the 75, hoping that our koi angel here would have a friend. Unfortunately, it went very south quick. Went ahead and got the gold marble out of there. Maybe took him out of quarantine a little late, but well, actually I wouldn't even say that because fish wasn't sick or nothing, but didn't work out, and unfortunately the gold marble passed, which is pretty sad. But let's see, Kenny with a very interesting question here again. What fish keeper channels do you watch for info? Many, honestly. In terms of my puffer fish, Corey at Aquarium Co-op is one that I watch a lot. Obviously, Murphy the Maboo puffer. If I could fit a tank big enough for a Maboo in my doorway, I would probably try to think of a way to make it happen. But obviously, Maboo puffers grow to about a yard or 3 feet big, thus they need a monstrous tank. But in terms of getting info on my fish, puffer fish, especially Aquarium Co-op, is where I go a lot. Sometimes learn some things from Joey at King of DIY. Otherwise, Master Aquatics is another one, especially with angelfish is one that I watch frequently. I also read a lot about my fish too. I have a book called 500 Freshwater Fish, since all my tanks currently are freshwater. Although, obviously, some of y'all already know the 185 is going to be saltwater. Starting to think that I might turn the 30 hex that I recently got into a saltwater tank too. But otherwise, liveaquaria.com is another place I sometimes read about fish online, Meet the Pet. Kind of go all over the place because sometimes the more opinions you get, the better. And then then I guess what I kind of do is see which ones match. And if they match, then usually that's the route to go. Otherwise, if they don't, then whatever is different on each one, maybe do it with caution or take the advice with a grain of salt. I do, anyway. Acer 13 green again. Dragon puffers, so cute, hard to find, but I have yet to see one in person. I think I've seen one in person. Trying to think back. I also once saw an arrowhead puffer, and those are kind of interesting looking critters. But I think I did see a dragon puffer once in a store, but they are very hard to find. They're kind of an oddity because unlike most puffers that are social and are kind of like a little water puppy, as many of us that own puffers would tell you, dragon puffers kind of like to hide instead. They're not as social, so they're kind of the oddball of the puffer fish group, in my opinion. Still very cool though, nonetheless. I think they still have some of the best markings of any puffer fish, fresh or saltwater, out there. Hoping to find one maybe this winter. I hear that's when they're a little more easier to find, but even then it can it's just one of those fish that you gotta hope that you're ready and are able to keep yourself in a position where you can do it if you see one. Because if you ever see one, then better jump on the opportunity. Otherwise, probably won't be there very long. Got some new plants in a 75 over there. Get the angle a little better. There we go. Actually, we'll go ahead and zoom it up a little bit there. That's better. Put a little bit of Rotala indica in there. Got some more strands of young Amazon sword stranding off here. I think the Rotala indica is adding a nice little touch in here. I felt like the plants needed another little accent in here. Like Impactica apparently got uprooted a little bit. I'm willing to bet my ghost knife is the culprit for that. That or maybe my striped Raphael catfish, which hides just as much as my ghost knife does. I have to plant that back again, but I think the Rotala indica adds a nice little touch in there. Otherwise, not over here, some pea puffers and all that. Everyone is doing good in here. We used to have just 2 in here. Got one up here towards the front. See if I dim the screen down a little bit, that decreases the glare. That helps a little bit, it seems. That one pea puffer right there. There's 5 total in this 20-gallon hex. Put some more Rotala indica in there. In case you haven't been able to tell, I really like Rotala indica. The green and the kind of like a pinkish red, and stem plants in general. Stem plants are kind of the one I go with. I really like the stem plants. Otherwise, Amazon swords, Vals, and Anubias are my other go-tos. But otherwise, stem plants are the ones that I really have good success with because, I don't know, they just they grow like wildfire in most of my tanks. Jessica asks, can we see your ghost knife? Well, I can definitely try to get him out here. See if he's in his one log there. He is not. But I can see if I can set this up. Gonna give you something that's hopefully a little appealing to look at. We'll go ahead and put you guys on Finley's tank here as I maybe get in a position where I can at least show you a little flash of him. There we go. Wow. Finley feels like he's about to get shrimp or snail or something. Not just yet, buddy. Not just yet. Ghost knife's pretty good size, though. He's about 9, 10 inches. Oh, there he went right there. Where is the little guy? Oh, there you are. All right, hopefully Finley kept y'all somewhat entertained. Bring the computer over here so you can somewhat see him. So he's in this log right here. I'm also kind of looking on the screen myself to make sure that you'll be able to see him somewhat decently. I'm going to turn off one of the lights, so hopefully that'll still keep them somewhat. Usually I don't like doing this because I don't like to disturb my fish, but all right. If y'all are ready, here you go. And he's over in the big log. Too bad I can't do effects in midstream. But I'd say right now he's about 9-10 inches big right now. So he's a big fella. He is a big fish. Really, really cool fish though. Like puffers, they're scaleless fish. Thus they kind of got to watch the water parameters of them. Because they are more prone to disease if your water quality gets bad. Other than that, if you're willing to do the work and do the water changes, they're really, really cool fish to own. Oh, let's see. Yeah, there you go, Jessica. That's the ghost knife and all that. Hopefully, you guys got somewhat of a look of him. I know he don't like to be exposed too much. He kind of likes to be left alone and hide. So usually I let him do exactly that. But I do plan on doing a video on him at some point. I just obviously don't want to do that to him too much because to me the best fish videos are when fish are in their kind of natural state and such. Would be a lot easier if he liked those clear ghost knife tubes, but unfortunately that's not his thing. Unfortunately, learned that as he was about 2 inches, maybe, probably about 1.75 inches, maybe that or 2 inches when I got him initially. And even then, he didn't really like the little ghost knife tubes and such that are have that clear that they're supposed to feel secure, but you can still see them. If you did that, then it'd be a lot easier. But since he never liked it, I see Finley entertained Somewell. Acer saying hi to Finley. Yeah, Kenny, I really like Finley too. He is awesome, and man, is he growing fast. Still remember when he was just a 3-inch little, or not a 3-inch, but 3/4 of an inch little puffer when I got him from the store. Very late July, or not July. I'm just tripping up all over the place here. Very late January. I think it was like January 27. I was just going through some old photos, and I think that's what the date of the photo was when I got him. And yeah, they say they grow about 1 inch per month, and he stayed pretty true to that. Pretty true to that feat. He's grown about 1 inch to sometimes even more per month, and I'd say he's easily about 6 inches right now. So he's about a third of the way to where they can reach their full glory, which is about 18 inches. Jessica's saying, "Wow, he's gotten big." Presume you're talking about the ghost knife, and yeah, he's he's another one that had quite a growth spurt. Slowed down a bit now. Usually, when ghost knives get closer to that foot in length, then usually they slow down in their growth. Finley will probably end up doing the same thing. Once he probably reaches 10 or 11 inches, closer to that foot long range, then his growth spurt will slow down a little bit. He won't stop growing, but won't be as rapid. Rita again, does the ghost knife require more water changes than most of the other fish? Yes and no. I also keep live plants in there to kind of help make sure the nitrates and nitrites don't get out of hand. And fortunately, Amazon swords especially really eat that kind of stuff up a lot. Part of the reason why they're as big as they are yet. But yeah, I do like to do more water changes in there frequently too, just as a precaution, because just like Finley and my pea puffers even, they are a scaleless fish. Thus, if the water parameters did go in a negative direction, they are more prone to disease. If anything goes wrong in that 75-gallon tank, he'd be the first one to show it. And ghost knives about this size are, I sometimes, or at least here around the Omaha area or in the Midwest, I've seen ghost knives a little bit smaller than even him being priced at about $80. And for obvious reasons. Everybody wants the bigger fish. They want that instant gratification. But personally, I've always kind of liked growing out the fish. I think that's part of the fun of this hobby is get them small and just watch them grow. I think that's a lot of fun. Acer 13 Green, do you own your dream fish? Sometimes I feel like the fish owns you. But my the Fahaka puffer for the longest time was my dream fish, and still is. It's still probably my favorite. excuse me, favorite freshwater fish out there. I'd say in terms of dream fish now that are not in my fish room. I think I said this on a question earlier today. Pretty sure I did. The Mabu puffer is probably my new dream one, but obviously those things grow monstrous sizes, about a yard big, 3 feet even, before their growing is all said and done. Obviously, would need a monstrous tank. Probably 300 gallons would be the absolute bare minimum you could probably get away with. Even then, you'd probably want something bigger. You'd probably want a tank that has at least 4 foot, if not 5, front to back. And obviously, yeah, that's just a behemoth of a tank. So unfortunately, why a lot of people don't have them, and why I envy Corey from Aquarium Co-op so much, because yeah, they're awesome puffers. And unlike Fahakas, you can actually put fish in with them. They're not as aggressive. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Put some new plants in the in Frozone's tank. Show that here real quick. Give you one guess. If you guessed Rotala indica in there, you would be correct. Oh, there is actually 2 more fish I have not shown that are new to the fish room. And they're in our 40-gallon breeder, which won't be much longer, and I'll have to upgrade these guys. But we have some blue Philippine angelfish in here. That's a Pinoy right there in the middle. There's one of them right there. Otherwise, in there we got oh, there's the other guy. Right, I turned the cameras away. They're both right here in the left corner. We also got 6 blue diamond platinum angels in here. Inside this 40-gallon breeder tank. They're all everyone in here is now past the size of a quarter, so starting to stay on the lookout for a bigger tank for them. But for right now, everyone's still getting along. No one, I still think they're pretty young before too young yet to be considering pairing up or anything, which I'm sure with all the angels in there's got to be a male and female in there somewhere, if not multiple. But so far, everyone's getting along pretty well, which is good to see because I think a big group of angelfish is awesome. Just absolutely awesome to look at. Fewer fish look as cool as they do. Let's see. Wow, we've already gone past a half hour. In fact, we're actually creeping up on 4 minutes. I see we got 6 people here on the stream, 3 likes. Really appreciate everyone taking a little time out of their Sunday evening as we probably wind down, get ready for the new week to roll in. I know it's getting humid out there, or at least here in Iowa, it's been hot and humid. Oh, kind of another one in the chat here. Acer Green again. What size tank do you need for all those angels? Well, once they start pairing off, they'll probably get their own. Otherwise, some of them I might just have to sell back to stores. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to just have 5 tanks just for each pair of angel. Otherwise, I'd say if they did all get along, which after some lay eggs and all that, I just being a realist, I just know that's not gonna happen because my 2 angelfish back there in that 46 bow with the gold pearl scale angel and the marble. As soon as that happened, they started to really go after all the other angels. Before then, everyone got along just fine, just like that 40 breeder over there. But once eggs and fry come into the picture and all that, it becomes a totally different ballgame. But to answer your question, I was looking at a 110-gallon at one point. Obviously, there with some fish, I feel like unless it's a flower horn, in some cases, I guess there's no such thing as too big of a tank. Flower horns can be a little bit of awkward swimmers sometimes, so I guess that's one fish for sure off the top of my head I would say where maybe that's not fully true. But Kenny, another one. I'll get, but I would say probably a 90 would last him for a good while. It's about the same. It's a little longer than that 40. It'll add another foot. It'll be 18 inches and taller, so it'd give them a little considerable more space. But even then, they if all of them somehow magically got along for the long haul, which I just know is not going to happen, especially once eggs and fry come into the picture. But if they all did that, I would say for where they're at right now, a 90 would last them a decent amount of time. Kenny here in the chat asks, how much fish food do you go through a month? Well, what kind of helps me not go through too much is I go through a lot of various foods. Sometimes fish get pellets, sometimes they get flakes, sometimes they get frozen, freeze-dried food. But in terms of like weight and all that, I would say in terms of flake, I have like 4 different kinds. Frozen, I have jumbo bloodworms, normal bloodworms, brine shrimp. I don't want to. I honestly wouldn't have a good guess in terms of weight of the food, but at the same time, quite a bit. I used to go through a lot more because I used to be terrible at sometimes overfeeding my fish, but a lot of my tanks have bottom dwellers, so I guess when you have bottom dwellers, you can get away with that a little bit, but even then, it's better that you don't. But I also get the bigger canisters and all that just because of all the tanks I have. So fortunately, I'm not buying a whole bunch of food off left and right here, but for the most part, it's. I guess if I was betting, I would say I go through probably a canister's worth of flake food about every 3 weeks or so. That'd be a guess. I guess it also depends on the size of the canister. Yeah, 6 people watching right now, 5 likes. Appreciate every single one of you. Probably gonna wrap it up here within the next couple minutes here, but gonna go ahead and I'm trying to remember what I was gonna show here. Otherwise, oh yeah, put some Rotala here in the 46 bow front. Since I was talking about the angels, we'll go ahead and put it on them here a little bit. Looking at the camera like, oh, look at this. What is this? We see our reflection. Who are those 2 other angelfish? But yeah, I got some more Rotala indica in there. Once had some valves over there, as you can clearly see. Apparently, the Angels made a little bit of a salad bar out of those jungle val over there, which kind of surprises me, really. They usually don't munch on too many plants, but got some eggs there also on that Anubias there. I am still kind of on a learning curve in terms of angelfish eggs, but hopefully this time will prove to be the charm. They keep living longer and longer each time, so hopefully this will be the time where hopefully we can raise them up and they can grow up and see what kind of offspring these 2 would produce. I think it would be absolutely beautiful. I'm very excited to hopefully get it right one of these times and see what they would produce. So one last thing here. Obviously showed the 20 long here earlier. I remembered with those. All right, there. Those are some sort of hydro plant there. Obviously, plant names are so difficult sometimes. I mean, Java fern is easy to remember. Anubias is somewhat easy. Moss balls are easy, but I mean, when some of them get like, almost sound like Greek sounding names almost, it's very hard to remember. Otherwise, I wish I could remember and all that, because I know people have asked me what plants are here inside this other 20 long where I have a black crown tail beta community tank. See the black crown tail right there. Got a copper molly as well as 5 ember tetras, panda cory, and a ghost shrimp in here. and a few pest snails, which actually I don't mind because once they grow big enough, they just go in Finley's tank, or sometimes the pea puffers get a little treat. You always want to know why I think Life Planet tanks are awesome. This tank right here, especially, is kind of why I really, really love it. But other than that, I want to thank everybody for coming onto the stream here tonight. 5 likes, 6 people watching. I know we were once up to like 10, I want to say, almost at one time here. Really appreciate everyone who made the time to come on here and check out the fish room here and come on my live stream, chat for a little bit. Hope you all are had an awesome weekend. Have a great week here as well. And as always, thanks for all the support, and looking forward to putting plenty more content out there for you. And as I said earlier, keep an eye on the channel as another fish room tour video will come up. Obviously, I can't go into too much detail of each tank because with 17 tanks, it's already going to be a longer video. But if we went in too much detail with each tank, we'd be there quite a good deal longer. But looking forward to getting that out. Also got a video about the special delivery of this tank, as well as some ideas that I have for it. So keep an eye open for that video as well. Otherwise, as I said earlier, thanks to everyone that came out here for the live stream, and have a good rest of your weekend. Later, y'all.